Now the idea here is to hit the log right underneath the can and make the can fly up in the air. It's what they used to call barking. So you can hunt squirrels with a large caliber rifle. We'll check the can out. Yep, see, never even touched the can. You know, you shoot underneath the squirrel, you shoot the limb, and the impact stuns the squirrel without tearing them all apart. Well, I had a PM from somebody, which will bring up another point. You know, if you PM me, like I say, I can get the PMs, but I cannot reply to the PMs. So if you want to reply, you're better off to use my Gmail, the Log Cabin Looms, that Gmail thing. That works really well. It comes to me right away, and I can get back to you. And it has been kind of nice because I've actually been in contact with people who have kind of dropped out of YouTube, are still watching, but aren't, you know, can't comment stuff because they aren't in the Google Plus. But I've been back in contact with them, which has been nice. You know, some of the people, they drop off and you wonder what become of them. Okay, the question was about 4570 bullets. You know, I did a video a long time back. You know, I shoot my Marlin Cowboy 4570, which, you know, is to me the ultimate gun. The one gun I would not ever want to be without, because, as I've said before, it does feed me. Now, the question was about cast bullets, and I did a video a long time back about Spine Sales sent me some bullets that he cast. And now, you know, the question was if he still does it, and I don't know. You know, I mean, I've looked at his channel. It's kind of hard for me to sort things out on channels because a lot of times what they display is not in a normal order, you know, so I don't, you know, but they didn't seem to be very current, so I don't know, you know. I can't recall seeing a video from him lately, and I don't know that he's still doing the cast bullets, and I don't know what the price would be if he was still doing them. But what I would encourage anybody to do, if you do any amount of shooting, is to go ahead and buy one of these cheap Lee molds, you know, because that's what I use all the time. You know, you're looking 25, 30 bucks, but, and you don't have to get the fancy, you know, equipment to do it. You know, all you really need is an old cast iron frying pan and any kind of heat you got, you know, to get that lead up to temperature. And, you know, lead ain't that hard to find. It's all over the place. In fact, a lot of times in places people don't expect it to be, like even like the old curtains used to have lead weights in the bottoms of them, you know, so you can look around, you can scrounge weights. Then, you know, I tell you, if things come to the worst case scenario, parking lots are full of wheel weights. These are the 405 flat nose, and I've really been happy with these bullets. You know, before I started casting, I had shot up a bunch of these from Spine Sales, and it seems to be, I wonder if it isn't exactly the same mold even, because they got the same grooves and everything. But one time I was in town and I got a good deal on a box of 250. Well, it says on here $64.99, but they were on sale much cheaper. You know, I think I got them for like 40 bucks or something. So I bought a box of them then. But I see now looking at, and they were good bullets, but they're a little different in that they do have a good crimp groove, but they only have one lube groove, but they come pre-lubed and sized. You know, and that's one thing when I can't, I don't even size them. I don't, you know, no gas checks, no nothing, just a flat nose, flat based bullet, smeared with lube and jam her in there. The only thing you gotta do is crimp them. But you know, I really like 4570. But if you were to have to buy loaded ammunition, it's impossible. You know, it just costs way too much to shoot the bullets alone. I know I looked on Midway, and the bullets now for a box of 250 for these 405s is like $70, and they're sold out of them. You know, so you can buy that mold for, like I say, the 25 or 30 bucks. It pays for itself in really short order. You know, that's the smartest move I ever made. And they just work so well. And plus that you don't have to use gas checks, because on the smaller calibers you have to use gas checks. Well, that adds, you know, like 3 cents to the cost of every bullet. But by casting these, you know, you can shoot dirt cheap. The powder isn't that expensive, and the primer is kind of a set value. You know, like these, the one I just was out shooting, they were Trail Boss loads. I used like 4 cc's of Trail Boss, but it makes a nice planking round. Don't cost a hell of a lot, and you know, not dangerous to load. But that's what I would encourage you to do. I mean, you can check with Spine Sales and see if he still does that, sells cast bullets. But like I say, I would really invest in a mold. You know, don't go carried away and get all the fancy gear. Just buy yourself a cheap ass mold. It'll pay for itself in no time. And they make nice bullets. And it adds a lot to your shooting, just to be able to do it your own, and you don't have to fret about, because every time you pull the trigger on them expensive ones, it's you know, like throwing money away. But these, especially if I'm shooting them into the sand backstop, you know, I can recover all these. So that's my suggestion. I mean, you can check around, but you know, even if you have trouble getting lead, there's plenty of people on eBay selling lead. But there are, you know, there's lead around. You just have to look for it, and it just makes shooting so much cheaper. I mean, that would be my recommendation. And I know somebody had said about, well, this has been mentioned before, my loading bench always looks like a mess. But I tell you, I know where everything is. I don't lose things. The only thing I ever did lose, one time, I lost one of these damn little Lee, you know, these little reamer trimmer deals. And I suspect it rolled off the bench and flopped and got off some corner. But I picked up a new one. They're cheap enough. But like I say, I got her organized. It don't look like it, but everything I can grab right when I need it. You know, there ain't nobody else messing with my crap, so it stays where it was last used.